Hello, this is Pastor Deborah. I am honored to introduce you to the book of my son, James Schleich, the sound man. James wrote this when he was a young teen and working in the audio and television ministry of Brownsville Assembly of God during a great worldwide evangelistic ministry called the Brownsville Revival. James started working in the television and audio ministry very early, maybe 10 to 11 years old. And he put his hands on the audio board, and he never looked back. In his book, The Sound Man, James begins telling you about how he felt prior to touching the audio soundboard, and how God had a call on his life, and he had to discover it, and what God the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, was trying to show him and lead him and guide him. The doors of the television and audio ministry of Brownsville Assembly of God was opened to James. The men of the church were wonderful teachers and mentors to James, and he learned and he grew. He became a teacher and a leader of the children in the children's church and the youth ministry. In the Sound Man book, you will learn about James and how God called him. He didn't think he had a calling or he had anything to say. Worked with James, mentored him, and coached him to write the book. And this is what you're going to hear. He doesn't live with me anymore in Pensacola, Florida. He's way up north in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, married and has a daughter of his own. And he is now working in IT. Doing well, he has worked in churches and hospitals. James's story is for all children and youth to believe that they have a purpose in life and that God will call them even in their childhood and their youth. And he will provide a way. He will put mentors and teachers in their lives to help them. I, as James's parent, had to be encouraging, supportive. I drove him to church when he didn't drive. I talked to the leaders of the church to help James, to provide opportunities for him to put his hands on computers and the sound system. I helped him as he wrote his book. I encouraged him and mentored him. And you see the results in the Sound Man. You will learn about how one is called, how one feels before you get called, and you discover that God has a plan for your life. James heard that message out of the evangelist and the children's pastor and the youth pastor, that God had a plan for his life. Year after year, he heard God had a plan for his life. He jumped in, and I helped him. And the church people and the men, the ministries that he developed, he even wrote a manual to teach young children